Hello and welcome. This is the Daily Dharma. My name's Dina. Thank you so much to everybody who's showing up today. Let's go ahead and sync up our energies. Take a big, deep breath all together and release, letting any of your fears, anxieties, or worries pass through the smoke, transmute any of these lower energies into faith in receiving clarity and understanding and direction in the days ahead. Today I started the reading, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I just stopped talking. And since I don't edit, I just canceled and I started folding in some of the cards. I didn't like the direction that I was taking. And I think that it's important as kind of a metaphor for life as well. At any time, if we're on one type of a road, then we can always pack something in and go in a different direction. It's never too late to make some type of a shift or a change. And I think many people at this time are recognizing a need to transition out of more of a passive role in some developing circumstance and something that your gut instinct is really telling you is important to take action on, something that you are emotionally stirred and that is bubbling up from within you. This is related to you shifting your vibration up, releasing anything that has held you back before. There's been an enlightening moment which has caused this emotional upheaval here. And then we have the transition card. I should be showing these. We do have sacral chakra here, Merkaba. That's where I'm getting the gut instincts. Something may not seem right. The facts are coming into the surface. Transition. I always take that card as an upgrade of DNA. I mean, we could also see that as a lowering of vibrational frequency, but to me, typically, this is, especially in this context, talking about a leveling up, an activation, an excitement of energy and of the waveforms that we're tapping into. And so that raises the vibration from one level into the excited state here. And then we have solar plexus coming behind that, which talks about some type of radiance, some energy of confidence, charisma, empowerment, as we were saying. And then under the deck at that time, we had prosperity. Root chakra behind that is very good to materialize the prosperity and abundance, to ground into that and actualize something. I feel like for some of you, I'm seeing on the bottom here, we do have Tantric Journey would have been the next card out in the code cards there. There's an activation of something at the core level here, which for some or many could result in great prosperity, whether you define that, however you define success, as personal success, spiritual success, material. It looks like material is definitely there and available, but it's through being confident and aware of your value and your self-worth and whatever you're aligning with here. There wouldn't be a raising vibration here with this transition and the cards out here if it wasn't something that you were aligning with your calling and destiny. The first oracle card that we had was the Amaryllis Lute 34. I don't know if the age 34 is something that's important to you, or something that happened when you were 34. Could be. Right. But the Amaryllis Lute here is talking about the raising frequency being a victory. And so it's like the victory call comes when we no longer require the lesson. And now I'm going to hope that I don't get confused between what I was saying in the last reading and what I'm saying now. This is still a critical time in the post-election drama in the U.S. And I'm not buying the math. And this is one of the reasons I discontinued the previous one. I'm not going to tangent or go off on that in all of the readings. I think that it's important to stay the course. But I think that for many of us, we are many looking forward to making big changes for down the road and in 2 years, in 4 years, and so on, and activating youth and taking inspired action to leave behind things such as, personally, I canceled my Amazon associations today, as well as my Twitter X account. Thanks, no thanks. So you can take a stand in any way that you want. You can throw in those cards. It doesn't mean that experience wasn't valuable if you find out that you're no longer aligned with it. You get to take forward from every experience that's ever touched you. You get to take the gems and the treasures from that experience as you choose to alchemize them into further confidence and charisma. I was thinking today also of how many times it has bothered me in the past when people found out that I had gone through a divorce. People often asked me, "So you're keeping the house then?" Uh, as a matter of fact, I bought that house on my own years before I met that individual, and he moved into my home. Now, I've always been the one that has had this stable place because I'm a Taurus, first of all, but beyond that, because I get things done. And it's not because I'm emasculating myself here, or masculinizing myself, or whatever you'd like to say, under the pretense that it isn't sexy AF to some people who think it is appropriate for every individual to be sovereign and unto themselves, to create their own wealth, to follow their own guiding light and their own intuition as it leads them. And I believe in the worth of my voice and of my choice, no matter what comes up. And so, as I said yesterday, you can show people things in black and white, and that thing can still be a lie. You can write any sentence you want. You can write in black and white that the sky is purple. And there is a kernel of truth in that. All waveforms exist in there, but actually the sky isn't blue either. And I'm going to reserve the right to, when you show me something in black and white, to say, well, is that opinion, or do you come with facts? Do you have receipts? Because when I bring receipts, I'm tired of getting the ha-has from people who have nothing to stand on and are an apparent minority. So in these cards, we had this gut instincts being pushed forward. It was this gathering of that celestial card came out again. Down here on transition, we had music. There was something about the soul harmonics being activated. I'd like to just get a couple more from the Kali Kuan Yin mix deck, Veil of Shadows underneath. This is quite the shamanic card of having already walked through the underworld. And another pre-message was, some of us, we walked through that veil so many times so that we would be able to understand what it felt like in our bodies when we are being lied to. And this is a time to tap deeply into that. Absolutely. Because I think that the shamans here can be critical thinkers enough to understand that something isn't quite above board here. We have Dynasty of the Divine Mother, number 8, another strong card of courage because of its number, the infinity number. It corresponds to the year 2024. This is such an incredible time. And I already said earlier this year that we were going to have those Lionsgate activations many times because of this being an 8 year, as well as initiations from the Count Saint Germain, having to do with all stations to a broader level 2 on all stations around the wheel of the year this year. And we just had the passage of the Samhain time right at the time of the election, with all these planets in retrograde, or just about. I think that there's more to be seen here. So the dynasty of the Divine Mother is speaking up through us. The ancestors are activating the blood that's pumping through our vessels, because that earth and water elements, the feminine, pumps through our bodies, you know. Here we have Sisters of the Star Blossoms. That's something about, also, it's coming under the sacral chakra here, where we had the cards of that sacral water aspect and the convergence. So the convergence is us coming online with all that we are, this recollection, soul reclamation here. And the Sisters of the Star Blossoms, I think that we're understanding that we have cosmic family and earth sisters and brothers across the globe that are standing in some solidarity here, and they're lending their prayers, thoughts, and light to the situation. And then we have Dhumavati. Her third eye understands something is going on, and I feel like this is looking straight into the hearts and souls of those around us, with fresh eyes in a way, and it looks very judgmental. I'm not going to say that it isn't. That's the number, master number 22, and then we have, which you don't typically reduce, but here we have Call of the Dancing Crane number 4. Dancing Crane is about the attraction level and what it means to be alluring and magnetic, which is the feminine divinity within every being, no matter their gender, and the ability to flow with things is when we are in divine alignment with our inner soul harmonics. You know, you can tell, I hope I'm getting this through. It's like you can tell when a person is in divine alignment, because their movement is fluid. It's a work of art. Their beingness, the way that they care for themselves, is a work of art, versus people that are Pied Pipers and charlatans that are operating in the darkness. I feel that there are many reasons why this had to go the way that it had to go. First and foremost, had the results been the other way right off the bat, we probably would have had some type of civil war. Let's be real. And then if it hadn't gone this way, you know, these people would have still been lurking in the shadows with their face on behind their keyboards and so on, hiding, but festering and spreading this cancer in the darkness. So we're bringing the light fully onto this situation to expose it for what it is. Now, I want to read that Dhumavati card for you, because I love the deck here. So she says, beloved mother who dwells in the smoke. She came up recently, if you watched that reading. Who presides over the most difficult of transitions. Here we have that transition card, right? Transition between a climate where the expectation is for people to be kind and respectful, into a climate where suddenly people are yet again acting as though some people don't matter and are worthy of literally being spit on. Interesting, right? Not funny. But there's so many people out there ha-haing posts. So she who knows that certain endings are unavoidable, they're necessary predecessors to radical reinvention. Her presence brings the message that though disappointment, defeat, or loss and the negative repercussions of such experiences may cause suffering for a time, they will not limit your future happiness. They are means for opening as yet unrecognized pathways for fulfillment. Your trust must be unconditional at this time, and later you shall see that everything has worked out for the absolute best. So yeah, it talks about how there's certain pollution that needs to be released, and to acknowledge the suffering, and then developing further compassion, and having the reminder that our compassion and kindness is often evidence and indirect proportion to how much suffering that we feel like we have already endured. And so it's only tempering us to be even more empowered and sensitive souls. So there's something here with her black and smoky skin. She becomes the blackened Madonna, the beloved mother who does not watch our suffering from some remote place in blissful detachment, but is suffering along with us. Our cries resonate in her heart. Our emotional anguish, she is our sacred compassion in this, and her presence can help us bear witness with honesty and courage. So, absolutely. Um, when you admit that something is not good for you, or that, quote, I'm not yet sure how or what, but something needs to stop, this is the moment when um, she's actually activating you to take new action. You've reached the end of some road. It's a sacred transition through the death portal into action in new ways. So there's a huge 180 that we keep seeing. So it talks about sometimes being without movement in your chariot, and this doesn't mean that things are over, but it's a new cycle. So be ready for the mysteries and grieve and release what has been. So it's also talking about the shunned, criticized, denounced, and outcasted feminines due to social status or so on. And I feel like we're talking about that many people feel marginalized, or that something's been taken from them every time that something is given to someone in need. And it's a very impoverished and sad place for those people to be in. And so my compassion also shows me that there's some pity that I'm holding against in a negative format. And I'm going to try to transmute and release that. I'll get some clarifiers here with sacral chakra. This gut instincts, simplicity. Yes, keep it simple. Make sure to pay attention to the simple repeating messages. Maybe write some things down. Some people may be needing to create some flight plans, some type of travel. We've got a couple other cards coming out. Gifted and rejuvenation. I think that there's a return of your own spirit happening here, getting back into the swing and feeling revived, a restoration of your power. Remember, we had that convergence that came out the first time that I clarified there, and that one is commitment here. And storm, I want to move on to Merkaba. Yeah, stay centered in the storm. Merkaba comes out with union, connecting with people, places, and things that help you to stay centered and empowered and lucid. And then we have power again. Yeah, union power. Some of you may be union workers, or formulating some type of coalition, or joining some type of group here. An influencer group, grassroots movements. Last card here, prayers It may even be a powerful mass prayer that needs to go on to help heal the union, to heal and resolve the cognitive dissonance and the fear and apathy and infighting going on amongst many. Here we have the music card again showing itself as we move to the transition card. That's what came out before. A shift in soul harmonics with the frequency shift card and something else. What is this transition here? Again with shifting. Yeah, there's shifting sands. The earth is moving below our feet. Assistance. Something is in good hands right now. We need to do what we can, release what we cannot control, and move and ride the wave somehow. That came out yesterday. So in times of transition, stay grounded. Stay based in your reality and in your gut intuition. Just because it's truth doesn't mean it'll ever be resolved. Look at this. Worthy and frequency shift. These are the cards that came out last time with transition and music. Underneath we have Phelan. It did show itself in the earlier reading. Yeah, shifting frequency shift, worthy, transition. Something is coming in that is going to shift our understanding and then shift it back again. I feel like things are like a seesaw right now, because then there's this shifting and then the frequency shift happens directly afterwards. And it's like then we're earning something here to actually move into the end game. Yeah, interesting. So solar plexus chakra. Solar plexus. We've got birthing. Exactly. Intuition, innocence, manifest. There's a new way of being and acting coming in. I feel like some people are going to be moving more into things like politics, and at least at the bare minimum into fearless recognition of their intuitive gifts, to recognize the divine intervention and the way that God manifests in our lives in weird and wonderful, miraculous ways. There's music and mediumship with vibration and confidence underneath the deck. Gorgeous again. So we're birthing these new confident soul harmonics that are going to shift the foundations of this world, that's going to bring in some type of cosmic understanding here. I mean, this looks like some beam me up Scotty stuff, except like beam me down, sister, when you need me. It's like channeling some type of power, praying to be somebody who pulls that full convergence energy of all that you are into your Merkaba field to create movement and momentum within the spirits of those that you are around here. It's like you are praying for the empowerment of the movement towards union and love and expansion, to transition this world into the higher realms. And we have to pass through this veil of darkness before we can get there. And some of us with this call of the dancing crane are the ones that are actually out here demonstrating the way forward. We're these movement and momentum leaders that are calling the souls that resonate with our side of things into our realms and gathering for this coalition movement. So anything lastly on this prosperity in particular? Integrity came out quite a bit. And this is something, forgive me if I'm repeating myself, I definitely said this in the first one. With this integrity card, I believe that it's been the most strategic chess game move that's happened so far, was so loudly and moronically preaching and crying like crazy about fraud and election interference, while the Democrats and non-Trumpers looked at that as, well, that looks moronic. I'd never do that. I have faith in this. And then when we move and we look and witness our eyes telling us one thing all this time, and then the results come back to show us something completely unreasonably different. Let's not get lost in this gaslighting that's happening on some ridiculous level, some nonsensical level, when the receipts don't balance. I am a sacred spiritual accountant, let me tell you. There is a lack of integrity going on here, and they're playing and preying with an E, preying upon our kindness and hoping and praying on us that we will roll over as the bigger person that's letting the bully just take the top swing, because it's like, well, nothing's worth fighting for. Let's just keep on being the warrior in the garden. Believe me, I've gotten that message, but I gotta say, when is enough enough? When they are coming for you, because the time is already here. Divine intervention is coming through, and your heart is speaking to you. Where is justice? She's coming. Yeah. So we've got Starseed, Feline comes through, Divinity comes through, Violet Flame, and we've got Love, Fairy Magic, Manifest, Right, as in writing, Innocence, Fearless, Recognition, and Right Order. Yes, the right order is coming in with all those individuals that are recognizing the BS and being fearless in speaking their truth, because you can't fool somebody that's already dealt with the worst of the devil has to offer. I've seen him and heard him, and I know him by name. So in the pits of the innocence, you've got to be, as critical thinkers, aware that this is not right, and use your power of your voice and your ability to write and to speak, and to call a spade, to call a liar, a fraud, and to stand on the right side of karma, because you're manifesting your soul contracts in these moments. Where do you sign your name? On the dotted line. Come clean from your fairy magic. There's something trying to operate as mass hypnosis, and at the end of the day, only love will guide us through. So earlier from this deck, we did have the Divine Physician, Jesus, number 6, coming out with Hilarion, number 5, the Scientific Researcher, and Akashic Knower. This is the Akashic Tarot. Let's see. Any final thoughts from this deck, and then we'll get a Tao Te Ching message. We have Adsum, number 22, that resonates with the Doomvati card, which I was just thinking about as I saw this come out. So I'm present for it. I'm here for it. I'm here for whatever happens. Prove me wrong. Bring me the receipts that you have that show something other than what I'm seeing, because everybody that's polling that I see out there is doing something like 80 to 90% blue hearts. And even with the third party people on there, I'm seeing the non-blue vote at something below about 15 to 18%. So You tell me. I don't believe in the 50%. Master artisan, yeah. You're ready for something, and you're an artist in your own right, and you're being prepared. So make sure to unburden your soul, and don't get angry, get lucid. Anger will reduce some of the vibrations. Now, I'm not invalidating emotional responses. I'm also angry, but I'm not going to allow myself to become angered and unclear in the midst of something so incredible. I'm going to channel and consolidate all of the power in my soul to manifest this, whether we're talking about as a light worker, as somebody who can and does practice powerfully. I do believe we're being prepared for something incredible. King of Scrolls, somebody's coming forward with a lot of information, and it might be the closing arguments in one of the court cases here coming forward. Ark of the Covenant, something's being sacred and protected here. Clearing the way. Something is going to come to pass. There's the chess game coming in. We've got a lot of foresight. We know what's coming in. Here's the judgment call. Archangel Gabriel is going to call judgment on somebody at 3131, which is a 4-4. And we've got 22. Yeah, so many 22s. And here we have that soul contract, Ace of Roses, commitment. And fated meetings may be on the books for some of you guys. Something is coming to pass, and here we have this child energy with the loving elementals. So there may be some births going on at this time. There may be some incredibly enlightened souls ready to incarnate right now. At this point, we can't look into the future. Some of us can't. The Akashic Library is there for us. We need to tune in powerfully into our meditation space and ask for instructions and directions upon what works with our soul, our path, our skills, and how we're going to affect and influence change and advocate for our rights. Because everybody here matters. I love you guys so much. And check back for other messages real soon. And until next time, take good care of yourselves.